Hello, friends. Today we're going to talk about innovation. Innovation may sound like a great creative art, which is hard to quantify, and it is dependent on a bolt of lightning that gives you the inspiration to create something new or better or better. And it is subject to the availability of some magic dust. Reminds you of Harry Potter, right? And a load of luck. While it is true that innovation, to an extent, does rely on that lightning bolt of ingenuity, which leads to creativity, but in reality, innovation is something that you can make happen by following the right system, the right processes, and developing the right mindset. So I think I have said in some other episode that in reality, a person can be taught innovation. And I still stand by that statement. If I have not made it, I'm making it today. That innovation can be taught to someone. Okay? Sorry. That innovation doesn't always have to be about something new. It can be that you're still innovating on the old product, because innovation doesn't only mean something that is absolutely brand new. It can be improvements that can substantially improve your existing product. So a lot of innovation actually that most companies do on a daily basis is about innovating with existing product or services to make them better by better performance, by better utility, and by better usage of the customers. Okay. It has to cater to the needs and wants of the customer that we have already discussed. But when you innovate on existing product, those needs or those changing needs, and in today's world, everything changes so fast, are taken care of by the innovation that you do. Okay. Having said all this, there is one thing that is absolutely etched in stone or gold, if you like, that to innovate, it is absolutely imperative to break the barriers that block your innovation. I mean, see, a lot of organizations today that I have seen and interacted with are absolutely not prone to innovation. And that is where actually the industry I worked with and India on a whole falter in a large way. We are not risk takers, even a small amount, but that's not going to get us ahead. And when I talk of breaking barriers to innovation, the first and foremost barrier and the most crucial barrier that you will need to destroy is your conformist mindset. That mindset cannot work for innovation. You need to cultivate and develop the mindset that is required for innovation. An innovator's mindset is very different from that of a conformist. There are some simple but crucial things that you need to take care of to become and develop the mindset of an innovator. You need to embrace curiosity. You need to adapt to continuous learning. And you need to embrace open collaboration. Without these three things, it cannot work. So when I say embrace curiosity, as we all know, curiosity fuels creativity. It makes you think differently, and therefore innovation is spurred. So always be curious and question the status quo. Don't accept something, even if it is doing well. Think if there is a different way of doing it which will make it better. Existing product being innovated. Explore new possibilities all the time. Things are being done in a certain way. I'm not saying stop doing that. Continue doing that, but simultaneously think of how you can better it so that things improve. Adapt continuous learning. You will need to stay with the trends and what are the things that are changing around you. And like in today's world, if you look at it, everybody, every single person is talking of artificial intelligence. It's like AI has become the all-inclusive topic of discussion. But that's what you will also need to do. You will have to learn the basics of all of that. Embrace open collaboration. One man alone cannot think and do everything. None of us here are gods. We are all human. So, as a leader, have regular brainstorming sessions with your team. Make it a place where each one can express his opinions without feeling stupid. Because some of these stupid ideas are the ones that work best. And for your reference, for the reference of your team, minute every one of these sessions, what are the results out of that, and maintain a journal of every idea you tried and the results it gave you, good or bad. This is going to be an essential part of changing your mindset. Now, as we said just a minute back, that innovation is not always about something that is brand new. Innovation can be about changing the old, improving. Changing is not just for the sake of changing, but improving the old. But when you're doing innovation from an existing product, there are some simple things that you need to remember at all times. And the first and foremost of that is to protect the signature elements and the USPs of your existing product. While innovating, don't let those things escape unless you have a fantastic reason for it. Because by maintaining this, by maintaining those signature elements and the USPs, you are going to help the customer to be familiar with and maintain the continuity in using the new product. Whether it is an upgrade you give him, whether it is a new piece that he buys because he likes some of the new features, whatever, he should feel at home right away. And by doing this, you can help that. And as you evolve the product, make sure that the product story that you have built, if you have built any, and by the way, you should always build a story around your product. The story you have built has to evolve. Introduce new segments about why you're making the change. What is it that made you put in that effort and money and whatever else that you put in to bring about that transformation in the product? Let not there be a gap in the narration or the communication of your product with your customer. They should feel as though it is flowing. It's just that the flow has improved, the product has improved, and everything else. And another very important thing, depending on the product you are in, you need to also maintain and evolve your heritage, so to say, of your product, of your company, or whatever else that you have built along with the product. When you innovate, this thing should be taken care of. When you innovate on an existing product, it is imperative that your innovation delivers something that gives greater delight. You remember we talked of this? It's not about customer satisfaction, it's about delighting the customer. So you have to innovate and bring out a product that gives greater delight to the customer who is buying and using it. And when you reimagine the design, you have to keep the current trends in mind. It could be a substantially new design compared to the old one. Go in for that look, but make sure that some of the features are as easy to use as they were in the old one. And when you refeature your product, refeature it to cut costs and to make it more efficient. Why else would you want to do that? So when you're doing that, cut out the redundant features. I tell you, in today's world, there are products that have so many redundant features that it is just mind-blowing. Okay. So cut out the redundant features, but make sure that every feature that addresses a need and want of the consumer stays there, becomes better, and remains as easy to use or easier to use than before. So keep what the customers need and use. Don't touch those unless you're improving it. Constantly ensure that the new and the old are in sync. Make sure that they're married to each other. Two faces of the same coin. They're married, they don't want to see each other, but that's okay. Okay. And if you are disrupting it, which may be sometimes necessary, okay, be sure that there is a super great reason for you to disrupt it. And make sure that that disruption helps the customer, not bothers him or not reduces the utility you was having out of your old product. So let there be increased value for the customer. Okay. Now, there are some things that you need to remember to innovate wisely and consistently. The first thing I will tell you is, and this is something I've learned from life, engage in small experiments. Making a big change all of a sudden is time consuming. You do not know the risks involved and you do not know the results for a very long time. So experiment in small steps. Yes, your goal is that, but experiment, break it down into small steps. The advantage of doing this is that, first of all, small steps means you're getting them done quickly, maybe a week, maybe 10 days, maybe even less. So in 10 days, you know the result. The team stays happy and buoyant because they are successful in that phase of the development. And these small steps help you to probe, evaluate, and make sure that whatever you are doing is in the right direction without having a very big time or financial outlay. Those small projects are going to cost you much less. At the end of the day, your investment is going to be the same. I don't think it's big more, but it's going to be the same for sure. But the risk involved, if you find that after 5 stages that, okay, that whole project is not going to work the way this thing, because that particular step cannot do the functionality that you had originally hoped it would do, better to cut your losses there than to go through the whole rigmarole, spend that whole $1 million or whatever it is you're putting into it, and then find out that, okay, everybody's time, money, everything was wasted, and a lot of heartbreak. Okay. So smaller exercises, smaller experiments lead to smaller risk, but help you to be on a surer footing when you're walking towards your goal. And as I said, they can be done speedily. So on the whole, the team is constantly motivated and they have small wins to celebrate. Now, when you're doing the small things, you need to focus on the strategic experiments of each small step. Okay. Whenever you are starting an experiment, no matter how small or how big or whatever you're doing, let each experiment be clearly defined and the objectives well established and shared with everybody who's going to work on that experiment. With each experiment on completion, test whether each of them is measuring up to your objectives, what you had hoped to achieve, and whether it is helping and inching you towards your goal. I'd read this somewhere and I liked it very much. Define the hope for every experiment. H stands for the hypothesis. What is the hypothesis behind the experiment? O stands for the objective. Why are you doing that? P stands for the prediction. What are you expecting to get out of that experiment? And the E stands for the execution plans. Once you have defined all of those, you need to have an execution plan that is absolutely irrefutable and will make you go along that path. Now, when I talk of small experiments, doesn't mean that your final goal is to. I'm saying you set audacious goals. That's the way to go. Set audacious goals. But as we just discussed, break up that goal into smaller steps, into smaller goals, so that your experiments, your investments, both time, money, and whatever other resources you are using are going in smaller amounts, and increasingly only after testing that little that you have done. And each and every one is small goals. Pursue them with zest. Get results fast. It's a small goal, don't let it take all the time. Involve others as you need from the organization or outside, but make sure each of those small goals is a success. And make sure that each small experiment that you complete or you start is tying it with the ones that you have done before, and it is tying in with your final goal and final objective. That is very important. A lot of times I've seen that when leaders start on an innovation project, they give it to the team, they explain everything, and then they think their job is done till they get the results. I don't agree with this. Stay involved. By staying involved, first of all, you're telling the team that, okay, this project is important enough for me to spend time with you guys so that we all succeed. It sends out a message that, as I said, it is critical to the organization's success. So stay involved with the team. Success, when achieved by the team, the small wins, be there with them to celebrate. And when they face challenges, be there to support them and help them address those challenges and resolve it so that they move forward. And whenever you're looking for solutions, look for simple, affordable solutions. You don't have to go to the rocket science mode for things that can be done more easily. So look for simple, affordable solutions. Share the load. This is something that we don't do. In fact, I remember when I started in my industry, I could not visit any other factory and nobody was willing to share information. I had to discover the wheel myself for something that had been existing for over 5, 7, 10 years. So share the load. There are two advantages. First is you're managing the risk better by sharing it. Okay, and you're getting more brains to work on it. And share it with like-minded people and like-minded organizations. Yes, I'm also talking of collaborating with various organizations. But you need to find smart ways to collaborate. You need to protect your final product and your final goal. There may be parts of the whole project that are common and you don't need each one to work on it. Work jointly, get those, but then at the end of the day, make sure that your product is your product and that doesn't get snatched away from you. Communicate strategically whenever you're working on a collaborative innovation. See, great ideas come from various sources, sometimes from the person you least expected. Okay. So when you get these great ideas, assemble them. Now, a lot of times what happens is that the person who has come up with the idea may not have the knowledge or the capability to explain succinctly what that idea is and tie it up strategically with the goals of the company and various other things. Okay, so whether that person who is giving you the idea is from outside or from within the organization, help that person to present his idea properly so that everybody, you, the other organization, and everybody within your organization are going to get the benefit of that and are able to work and understand it. But every idea that comes to you cannot or need not be a great idea. So for every new idea that comes to you, check and determine certain things. What is the objective to be achieved if you implement that idea and succeed in getting it done right? How is it different from what you are currently doing? Whether it's a project, whether it's a process, whether it's a service you are offering, how is it different? And how is that difference going to make things better? If it's not making it better, why go through it at all? You don't want to step back in life. So, what are the advantages with the changes that you will be making? What are the risks involved? If that one change is going to disrupt your entire product or service, do you really want to go through it? Okay. What are the cost implications? There may be a capex involved. So what is the capital investment that you would have to make? And what is the regular operational cost, whether it is increasing or decreasing? Do you think that improvement you make and it leads to a cost increase is still giving value to the customer? That's something you need to answer. And that's something you need to take clearance. And at the end of the day, how will the success be measured, whether your idea is right and whether it is delivering value or not? Okay. Vet and refine the ideas on a regular basis. Let only the best ideas flourish. Allocate resources, every which kind, manpower, money, whatever else that they need for the best ideas. Okay. But don't let your resources be wasted on ideas that are worthless. Kill those ideas. Out. You don't have money, you don't have time, you don't have energy, there's enough other work to do. Kill those bad ideas. Just kill the losers. Now, to do all this, you need to set up some kind of a guideline, a framework on how you will judge. So set up simple rules, make a document, set up simple rules of how you're going to judge each idea that comes your way. And take an opinion and feedback from all the stakeholders. The finance guy will tell you from his viewpoint, the manufacturing guy will tell you from his viewpoint, and therefore you have a balanced viewpoint on whether the experiment will succeed or not. And finally, after doing all of this, make sure that you prune your innovation list prudently. Do not spread your resources so thin by taking up so many projects that you can do justice to none of them with the resources that are available to you. Nobody has unlimited resources. But if there are game-changing offerings, I would suggest that you keep them in the basket, although they might take a little additional resource, and make bold and strategic moves, whether on new product or existing product. That's the way to go forward. That's the way to innovate. Go ahead, guys. We'll talk a little more about innovation in the next episode. In the meantime, have a great day. Start enjoying your week. We've just begun. And send me your comments as usual. Thank you.